Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe Chun Love, here with another edition of Sports Overview Topics. Um, got a bunch to go over today as far as football is concerned, as well as both the NFL and the college football playoff first rankings have materialized, have come out. Give my thoughts and review that. NFL Week 8 is in the books. Almost halfway already through the NFL regular season. Talk about going by swiftly and smoothly. Along with my NFL Week 9 predictions. But first, before I get into it, wanted to go over we had a big and busy NFL trade deadline. I mean, of course, Week 8, now it's time when teams get either desperate or they know what their teams are and know that they have to make moves now if they want to go further in playing football in the deep January and possibly February. But might as well go in depth about it. The first move, as far as just the trade deadline day, TJ Hawkinson. Talk about a guy who was a top 10 pick by the Lions in 2019. Did some good things in Detroit, but of course, Detroit has not really had stability since that little period when Jim Caldwell was there and they had 3 out of 4 winning seasons. And last year, I believe, the year before, Hawkinson made the Pro Bowl with Evan Ingram. So, Hawkinson, a former Pro Bowler, in the division, I think is what's most stunning about this trade. In the division, Lions trade to the Vikings for a good amount of picks. And, Vikings now 6-1. Now, I mean, excuse me, their offense is looking more jacked by the minute. Now, it hasn't been the prettiest offense by any means, but they've been finding ways to win. And thus that's their 6-1 start. And Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, now T.J. Hawkinson for Kirk Cousins. I mean, it's all a good lineup on offense. On the defense, Patrick Peterson, Jordan Hicks, Daniil Hunters, Darius Smith, Eric Hendricks, got studs across the board. Harrison Smith, got some studs, and again, with the NFC, it's a lot more questions because you don't really have that great Philadelphia, the only undefeated team. Very good. Very good. Haven't been, I think, as explosive as some people have thought, but they're grindy, they're gritty, and they score a bunch of points. And, it's going to be hard really to triumph against them with how Hurts is playing, how the running game is gone, and offensive line, D line. But, you know, getting done as well. But good move for the Vikings, as it helps propel them and to, I mean, it's going to have to take a miracle, really, at this point for the Packers or anyone else to win that division other than the Vikings. So I think we can pretty much say they're going to win the division. I mean, that's the only division right now in the NFC I think is pretty much wrapped up. Like, less than halfway through the season. One division seems wrapped up in the NFC. And good for Vikings, good for Vikings. I'd say, for the Lions, the way it seems at this point, I mean, after the first month of the season, I thought they were going to be competitive and have a decent shot at making the playoffs. And boy, was I mistaken. Was I sadly mistaken? Like the Raiders. Like the Raiders. Um, but yeah, good. Next up, Chase Claypool. Same with the NFC North. Chase Claypool traded from the Pittsburgh Steelers to the Chicago Bears for a second round pick. Chase Claypool, receiver out of Notre Dame from the second round 2020 draft. Excuse me. He had a very good rookie season. Very good. Production has kind of fallen off since then. Now, partly that was 2020 was like Ben's real last good year. Last season we saw Big Ben regress. And now, with the quarterback situation pretty much all over the place, and, the Steelers drafted George Pickens, Calvin Austin, they extended Deontay Johnson. Pretty much Claypool is the odd man out. So they send him to Chicago, presumably to help Justin Fields see what he has and probably a future move. And the Bears are competitive. So, but still, this seems like a good move for the future and finding the development for Justin Fields. And the Steelers are pretty much just a giant disappointment right now. So, yeah. Bradley Chubb, the former, now so young, so plenty of potential. Bradley Chubb now is a Miami Dolphin. The Dolphins sent a boatload of picks or a number of picks to the Broncos, including a first rounder to Denver to swoop Bradley Chubb. I mean, another way to amp up that defense. I mean, the Achilles heel pretty much right now of the Miami Dolphins is their defense, which wasn't the case a couple years ago, but now it seems that way. And Bradley Chubb to pair with Jalen Phillips, Javon Holland in the back end, Xavier Howard, Bauer Jones. You know, good compliment. Good compliment for those. We had a trade between Bills and the Colts, similarly for running backs. Naeem Hines goes to the Bills. Zach Moss goes to the Colts. Good move for both. Because it's clear as day if you saw the Packer game for the Bills. James Cook, Devin Singletary are pretty much a 1-2 as far as running backs for the Bills. And Naeem Hines is one of those swifty pass-catching running backs that can certainly help Josh Allen, certainly help the Bills' offense be better as if they need to be. Zach Moss, good move for the Colts. I mean, and in that Bradley Chubb trade, include Chase Edmonds, and Chase Edmonds would be a nice compliment to Melvin Gordon and Latavius Murray for the Broncos. Zach Moss for the Colts, like I said, good backup to Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor has not been who he was last season, and it's been unfortunate, but injuries and lack. The O-line has regressed. 1 sec. And the O-line of the Colts has regressed, and it's just. I mean, the Colts are staying afloat, but they're 3-4-1. But yeah, they have not been what many I think thought they would be going in the season. And that's pretty much the caboose of the big trades as far as trade deadline was concerned. A lot of good ones. Although I will say a bit of an under radar trade. So the Jacksonville Jaguars traded for Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley, who's currently suspended indefinitely. So we still do not know when and if he'll be back, but Jaguars made a move, granted the rights to Calvin Ridley, and, of course, suspended for betting on games. But, if he can come back, the Jaguars had a promising start, but have sunk in the last month or so. Trevor Lawrence has made improvements. Travis Etienne, I think, will be a star in the league. I think that's also a future move. Him, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Marvin Jones. That's a good supporting cast for Trevor Lawrence as he continued to find his development in the system and as quarterback in the league. But yeah, those were the gist of NFL trade deadline. Now let's give quick thoughts on NFL Week 8. So, I was 10-5 on Week 8. Feeling swell. Another have not hit 12 or above like I would do sometimes last season and the year before, but hasn't been one of those weeks yet. But still another double-digit win week. Pretty good. But yeah, so starting Week 8, Ravens beat the Buccaneers 27-22. The Buccaneers were performing well to start the game. They were performing well. 10-0 lead early. The Ravens, though, fought back, kicked it in gear. The Buccaneers tried to fire back, but too little, too late. And the Ravens won 27-22. 5-3 atop of the AFC North. And looking good. Which, by the way, they added Roquan Smith in a trade from Bears. Did not imply earlier, but, great pickup for them. Broncos won. I guess the high knees worked of Russell Wilson. As the Broncos won 21-17. However, Jaguars, both teams did good things. There were a couple of drives where Russ looked like Russ. And Greg Dulcich, I think, had a really good game. Made some good plays, and Jaguars had their chances and ultimately failed. 21-17. Broncos snap a losing streak. Well, it was one heck of a game. Falcons won 37-34 in overtime over the Panthers. Good back and forth battle between the NFC South. Although we have some GOATs in Carolina. So with less than 30 seconds left, or less than a minute left, PJ Walker threw up a Hail Mary down 6 to DJ Moore in the end zone. Already a candidate for Play of the Year. DJ Moore caught it in double coverage. And they tied it up. And all they need to do is get an extra point to snatch the victory from the jaws of defeat. DJ Moore has a big celebration. Takes off his helmet. Takes a jump up at the crowd. Now there might have been Panthers fans there, but nonetheless, obviously got flagged. The extra point was pushed back. And A. Pinheiro misses the extra point. And we go to overtime. Then the Panthers get another gift. Marcus Mariota, who had an alright day, threw a pick that was taken back in Falcons territory. A much shorter kick than the extended PAT was. A. Pinheiro missed that. And twice, Panthers had a chance to win it off the leg of A. Pinheiro. Did not get it done. Falcons drive down and score to win it. Younghoe Koo puts it over 37-34. Falcons lead top the NFC South at 4-4. Dallas Cowboys seem like they're in form. They beat the Chicago Bears 49-29 in Dallas. Bears fell behind, but did what they could to get back in this. It was 28-23. 28-23. And looked like the Bears could very well keep this tight, but Cowboys pulled away and won it by 20. And Bears, I like that they're competitive. Cowboys, though, are finding their direction. Tony Pollard, hell of a day. Good for them. Good for the Dolphins, too, as they won it 31-27 over the Lions in Detroit. Came all the way back. Got it done. It seemed like this was like a stuck in the mud game for the Dolphins, but they rallied back and got it done. Just want to do the math here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. What was probably the game of the day? Vikings won 34-26 over the Cardinals. Again, more adversity for the Vikings, but found a way. Got it done. And 6-1. And that TJ Oxen. Very good looking for them. Good for Patrick Pearson. I guess that felt really well to be his former team that he spent a decade with, pretty much, with the Cardinals. Future Hall of Famer. So good for him. Saints won 24-0. I did predict them to score 24 points, but Raiders did not score a point. Dennis Allen's revenge game against former team. Saints defense came alive. Alvin Kamara, good day. Andy Dalton, a solid day. I mean, this was going well, and what was wrong were the Raiders. Just so much. Patriots got back on track. They won 22-17 over the Jets in East Rutherford. Bill Belichick is now past George Halas, is now second all-time leading coach in wins. Mac Jones, solid day. Ramondre Stevenson over 100 yards. He is really becoming one of the premier backs, I think, in the league. I mean, he is just a stud. And 2 picks by Devin McCourty. McCourty had a really solid day. I mean, I would like to shift back note from the Vikings Cardinals game. J.J. Watt had 2 sacks. Great to see him still healthy and hopefully still for the rest of the season. Zadarius Smith, 3 sacks. And, tied for the league lead in sacks with Matt Judon of the Patriots. It was an avalanche in Philly. For the Eagles getting it done over their fellow Philadelphia native Steelers 38-13. AJ Brown had a monster day. Jalen Hurts is really looking like I think Philly thought he would be when they drafted him in the second round. Of course, many were curious when they still had Carson Wentz. Jalen Hurts is turning to a stud this season. Titans beat the Texans 17-10. Derrick Henry doing Derrick Henry things. 200 yards rushing. Is tied for all-time 200-yard gains by a running back. Good for him. Only needs one more to be standing alone at the top of that list. Taylor Heineke and the Commanders do it again. They won 17-16 over the Colts in Indy. A good Terry McLaurin homecoming. Sam Ehlinger did some good things, It's the same Michael Pittman dropped that pass at the end. Who knows what could happen? But great play by Terry McLaurin at the 1-yard line against Stephon Gilmore. Leading to a go-ahead touchdown by Taylor Heineke. They can make a push, honestly, for the playoffs. I mean, it's not that far-fetched. They can make a push. Speaking of push, 49ers continue their push over the Rams. They won 31-14. The Rams offense looked, I would say, back in the form. They looked really well in the first half. And then just the 49ers took control of the game, and won 31-14. Chris McCaffrey had the hat trick. I mean, throwing touchdown, rushing touchdown, receiving touchdown, had it all, and it was joy to see. Seahawks won 27-13. Was a tight game up until the fourth quarter. Was 13-13, and then all of a sudden the Seahawks pulled away. Kenneth Walker, seems to be the odds-on favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And joy to see. Giants did good things, just turnovers really cost them at the end. And Seahawks pounce. Bills won 27-17 over the Packers Sunday night. We knew kind of that the Bills were going to win this game. It just was a matter of how were the Packers going to make this interesting. And it was 24-7 at half. And kind of like, okay. But Packers rallied back, sorta, and did what they could. I mean, it almost seemed like a turnover fest at the end because it seemed like Josh Allen was throwing a pick, Aaron Rodgers was throwing a pick. I mean, it was just weird for a couple sequences. But Bills got it done. Packers continued to lose. Browns won on Halloween. Happy Halloween. Happy post Halloween. As Browns won 33-13. Or 32-13. Either way, Browns blew them out. I mean, it was close first half. I mean, no Jamar Chase for the Bengals. Going to be out for a month at least with a hip injury. Takes out a explosive part of their offense. You know, but this is a formula for the Browns to win and to fire back, get it done on Halloween. Great for them. Great for them. I am disappointed in Joe Mixon, I must say. I mean, them not being able to run the ball. Really concerning. Really concerning. That was week 8. Shift from week 8. Go to week 9. Let's do this. All right, so 13 games in week 9. So less margin for error, pretty much. It seemed for week 9. But let's get into it, shall we? Tonight, Eagles at Texans. And looking at the lines, Eagles 14-point favorites on the road. Will not have Jordan Davis. He's going to be out for a bit. But their stud first round pick out of Georgia. The Texans will be without Brandon Cooks. It was a big topic of the trade deadline, but nothing materialized. I mean, this could easily be a trap game, but I think without Cooks, I mean, I like Dameon Pierce, but I don't think there's going to be much. Eagles win 27-12. Our Texans move to 8-0 on the season. Chargers at the Falcons. Chargers 3.5-point favorites. For the Falcons, Cordell Patterson has been designated to return off IR. So, might not play this Sunday, but great news for them. I mean, Chargers 3.5-point favorites. That defense is so good, but hasn't been really the same since Joey Bosa injured his groin. And the offense has been underwhelming for the Chargers. So they got to pick up. I like the Falcons. I like how they're just keep going. And I think they know that they can win this division. Chargers can too if they can get their act together. But yeah, 23-17. Falcons win at home. Move to above 500, 5-4. Dolphins at Bears. Dolphins 5-point favorites. Bears just got Chase Claypool. Dolphins, though, fired back. Getting Bradley Chubb. So, two of the biggest trade deadline acquisitions we're going to see, it seems, very early on Sunday. Bears could very well pull up the upset. And, but I think now with Tua back healthy, I mean, find the rhythm. This could be a pretty good game. I'm going to go with the Dolphins, though, to win 30-24. Dolphins barely cover. Bear get the win in Chicago. Panthers at Bengals. Bengals 7.5-point favorites. At home. Panthers have shown light over the last few weeks. They've shown a bit of promise. Panthers have good stuff. PJ Walker's showed some good things in the Falcons game and the Bucks game down the stretch. And, nice pair of running backs. They got some quality receivers. The Bengals, feels like it's got to be a shootout. No Jamar Chase as concerning. And, the Bengals can't run the ball. I'm going to go with the Panthers. No, wait. I'm going with the Bengals. 28, 23. Carolina covers, but Bengals win 28-23. Packers at Lions. Packers 4-point favorites. Both teams need a win. Both teams need a win. Both teams on losing streaks. Lions haven't won since week 2. Packers, since that lackluster game against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, have not won. Both offenses both offenses can run the ball. This feels like a gotta have a game for both teams. I just cannot go with the Packers right now, and sounds strange, but yeah, 27 to 20, Lions win in Detroit. Just feel like Dan Campbell, is going to go all out. They need a win. I don't know what to think of Green Bay, really. Two other teams that need a win. Raiders at Jags. Raiders 1.5-point favorites. You know, you know, before the Saints game, the Raiders looked heavily promising. And then they lay an egg in New Orleans. Now they go to Jacksonville. Jacksonville has studs on defense. Their car is now great. Basically, Tua has done what I thought Carr would do this season, and it has come to fruition. It still feels like the Raiders are trying to find themselves. Jaguars, if they don't shoot themselves in the foot, I think can take this home. So I'm going with Jaguars here. 23 to 16 over the Raiders. Colts at Patriots. Patriots 5.5-point favorites. Sam Ellinger will make his second start of the season. like I said, he did well against the Commanders, 17-23, over 200 yards. You know, I mean, no touchdowns, no picks. Of course, the unfortunate drop, like I said, at the end, which could have him in position to win the game. You know, another week, Mac Jones, healthy, trusted to be the starter. We know how Belichick is with young quarterbacks, experienced quarterbacks. Going with the Patriots win here 31-22 over the Colts. Gets over 500. Bills at Jets. Bills 12.5 point favorites. You know, this is the most excited I think we've all been for a Jets Bills game in some time. And both are over 500. You know, both are trying to make a case for playoffs. You know, Zach Wilson made some good throws versus the Patriots, but he made some bonehead mistakes as well. You know, I thought James Robinson would have a little bit more of a role, but did not. So Wilson made some good throws, kept him in it, sorta till the end. Now, Jets defense still pretty good. So they could perhaps give Josh Allen some fits. And but luckily now with Naheem Hines, you have another weapon out of the backfield to relieve some pressure out of Josh Allen. So I don't think this will be a blowout. I think this could be a tight, gritty game that still the Bills pull off. I don't think they cover, but I think they win 24-17 over the Jets. Vikings at Commanders. Vikings 3.5 point favorites. Vikings 5-game win streak. Commanders 3-game win streak. One has to give. Vikings 3.5 point favorites. Just got T.J. Hawkinson. Curious how much of a role he'll have. Even if he doesn't, I mean, Jefferson, Thielen, Cook, Osborne, got studs. And now, Vikings play Buffalo next week. So they may be looking ahead a little bit. They could. But that will be the quest for a new coach, to first year head coach, to keep in their heads to not squander this. Well, they got the Bills coming up. So this will be a tight game. I'm going to say, though, and also a Kirk Cousins revenge game against his former team. That's the other thing. But 23-20 Vikings win of the Commanders. Seahawks at Cards. Cards 2-point favorites. Cardinals Cardinals offense has looked better. Definitely improved. Since getting back DeAndre Hopkins. And Seahawks keep finding ways to win. And certainly pulled away at the end on Sunday. You know, it was like 16-9 last time in Seattle. But with DeAndre Hopkins, I think, and Zach Ertz, Rondell Moore, I think this is a must win, as this is a God advocate now for the Cardinals, I think. And I'm going to go with them. Get this win here. Cardinals win 27-21 over the Seahawks in the desert. Rams at Buccaneers. Bucks 3-point favorites. At home. How will they stop the bleeding? You know, it's now been officially announced that Ray and Giselle are officially going to divorce. Bray is obviously affected. Obviously. To say he ain't, it, it's unfortunate. And look, they still got weapons, but it's not look great. And Rams offense, like I said, looked good in the first half, looked under control against the 49ers, and then they make the adjustments conclude. Now, in Tampa Bay, I don't think this will be a high-scoring game as people expect or hoping. I'm going to go with the Rams here to win 24-20 in Tampa. Intriguing one on Sunday night. We got the Titans going to Kansas City, take on the Chiefs. Chiefs 12.5-point favorites. Ryan Tannehill may return to action on Sunday night. We'll see. Or it may be Malik Willis again. I mean, Titans picked apart the Chiefs last year. And, you know, Titans can keep this competitive and probably win this. But I think Derrick Henry's gonna have to have a monster game. Another monster game. And he can still do well, but have to have another monster day, and that defense, it's coming along. It's coming along very well. Underrated. But I'm going with the Chiefs here to win 26-17. They get it done on Sunday. Try to keep pace with the Bills. Ravens at Saints on Monday Night Football. Ravens 2.5-point favorites. Saints, still got a pulse. They still have life, I think. Ravens now, are getting it done. Holding pace now. And I think now with Jamar Chase being injured, now with the Bengals getting trounced on Monday night, they got some confidence. And you need to be confident. And see, the Saints defense can provide some trouble for a team. And, it's going to be interesting to see Taysom Hill and Lamar Jackson. Not in the same time, but would be a great feat. Still, though, I'm going to go with the Saints here, though, to win the year 27-23 at home. They get done Monday Night Football. And there are my Week 9 predictions. Now, before I go, I gotta give my thoughts on the college football playoff rankings because looking at them, so-so. So, as far as the top 10 goes, so if the playoffs start today, 1 through 4, Tennessee, Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson. And on the outside looking in at the top 10, number 5, Michigan, 6, Alabama, 7, TCU, 8, Oregon, 9 USC, and 10 LSU. Now, just based off playoffs, I think Michigan or TCU should be at number 4. They should be in instead of Clemson. TCU really well. I mean, Michigan has been great this season. I mean, I don't know how Clemson's over Michigan. I just don't. Now, it's only the initial rankings, but I think, Oregon's got a shot. Oregon's got a shot, I think. If they win the Pac 12, Georgia wins the SEC championship, there you go. I mean, TCU with the Big 12, get it done. They got a chance. USC, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if they won that game versus Utah, I feel different, but we'll see. We'll see. But I mean, I agree with Tennessee. I agree with Ohio State and Georgia, but yeah, that fourth spot is dicey. But we'll see in the weeks to come. Anyways, thank you for joining me on another edition of Sports Review Topics. Like this video, leave a like, leave a thumbs up. Comment down below on the video as well if you have any suggestions for pros, pro wrestling reviews, sports review topics going forward. Comment down below and I'll read your suggestions. So, anyways, thank you. Be safe. I'm Joe Love. See you guys next week. I'm out. Peace.